Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. This is Tanush, and today I'm back with another interesting topic. Right? Which is or are the most important planet or planets in our chart? Any guesses? Jupiter, Saturn, Sun, Mars, Mercury, which one? So all the planets are equally important, and every planet is Karaka or is responsible for some of the things. We all know that, and each planet, based on the ascendant, it has certain portfolios. So we cannot say that one planet is more important than other planet, but there are two planets which as per my study and understanding are very important, right? So even if other planets are impacted or they are not in good dignity, if these two planets are good in your chart, then you live a comfortable, happy, contented life, and also you'll be able to achieve success in your life. In spite of all the hardships and everything, you will be able to achieve success in your life, right? So what are those two planets? So first is the moon. So moon, in astrology, in Vedic astrology, we call moon as a planet. It's a luminary, so we all know that. But we refer to it as planet. Now, moon is very important. That's what I think in one's chart, and that is true as well, because moon represents our mind. So apart from many other things like mother, nourishment, emotional bonding, apart from many other things, the most important thing which moon represents is mind. And mind is a subtle entity. We cannot see the mind, we can only feel the mind. And mind is a subtle entity, and if moon is very badly affected, impacted, debilitated in conjunction with malefics like Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, etc., then moon will be impacted or afflicted, I can say. And when moon is impacted, it directly implies that our mind is actually impacted. So our happiness, our even physical condition, our contentment in our life is dependent on moon or the mind, right? So if the mind is stable and mind is in a happy state, irrespective of we may be in a bad condition, we may be struggling, but if the mind is stable, if the mind is positive, looking out for positive opportunities in the future, then a person will be able to lead a happy and contented life. Not only that, that optimism, that hopefulness one gets with a very good placement of moon, and as long as that is there, we never lose in our life. So we may go through failure after failure after failure, and we may be struggling in our life. But if moon is positively placed, we'll get that hope. We have that hope in the life that at some point of time I'll be able to succeed, and that hope is very much needed for all of us, especially in these modern times in which we are living, right? So mind is a very important entity. Now, there are some placements of moon when moon is in Pap Kartar Yog, meaning there are malefics on both the sides of moon. Suppose moon is placed in the ascendant, so in the 12th house and the second house, suppose there are two malefics like Saturn and Mars, and moon is kind of hemmed between these two malefics. So that is a particular yoga known as Pap Kartar Yoga, wherein moon actually feels pressure from both the sides, right? Now, moon is a very soft planet, and it always needs something to fall back. And it is said that, as per the Jyotish texts, it is said that people who have afflicted moon, and especially with some placements, and suppose there is a malefic in the house prior to where the moon is placed, what happens is the person always tends to live in the past. And this I have seen, and this is one of the biggest problem. right? So what happens is a person might go through very difficult situations, a person might struggle very much, and after going through difficult phase, maybe through difficult mahadasha, through failures, through different difficult experiences, a person might succeed. Now, what happens with this kind of people is, even if they succeed, they have everything in their life, they always tend to live in the past. So they recall the past. They always, they recall the past. They want to live in the past, and they always discuss about how they had to go through difficult situations, why those situations had come, why a person behaved with me in such a way, right? So they don't want to look at the positive side, wherein they have achieved so much and there is so much of optimism in life. They have their future, everything is good, everything's settled, but they always want to be in the past. They always want to dwell in the past and crib. They keep on cribbing, telling how difficult situations were, how some people behaved in very bad way with them, how they had to go through hell, all those things, right? So this happens. And with certain placement of planets and moon, what happens is a person is very much anxious about his or her future. Now, the person may be living a very happy and comfortable life, might have achieved success, a great job, wonderful family, and everything, right? But still, the person is always anxious of the future. And the person will not be able to enjoy the present condition or live in the present moment. The person is always worried about the future. And I've seen this kind of people in my profession, especially, in the IT field. You can find dozens of such kind of people, they don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. What happens if tomorrow we get fired, right? What happens if the company loses project? What happens if slowdown happens, right? I mean, this kind of conditions might happen. It's not that we don't have to think about that, but we don't have to keep thinking and be completely absorbed in that negativity, right? So we might think, we might plan, that is optimistic way of dealing with things, but always be worried about what is going to happen, right? That is very bad. So with that placement of moon, either one is stuck in the past or one is very much worried about the future. They forget to live in the present moment. They forget to actually enjoy the blessings which they have in the in the current moment. So currently they might have a wonderful job, a wonderful family, a wonderful car, they may be enjoying all the facility, but either they dwell in the past and they find some reason to be very unhappy, or they dwell in the future. They want to know what is going to happen. They want to be sure that the future is secure, and in the process they actually don't enjoy the present moment. They don't enjoy the blessings which they are getting. So many people are struggling, right? So we can see that, but still they are always worried about the future, right? So this happens with some awkward placement of moon. Now, if moon is in close conjunction with Saturn in certain houses and nakshatras, one might go through depression, either during the Saturn Mahadasha or the Moon Mahadasha, or during their Antardasha, sub period, right? Or during the Sadhisati, especially when the Moon is actually hovering, Saturn is hovering over the Moon. So that would be very intense for them, right? And there are many other such conjunctions of Moon with, say, Rahu. This kind of people, they are very much stressed mentally, and they might see things of other dimensions which may not be true, which may be illusion, or which may actually be true. So certain conjunction, Rahu and Moon conjunction in certain houses, in certain signs, in certain nakshatras, they give access to a person to the other dimensions, wherein they can actually see the beings of other dimensions, like ghosts and spirits. And if it is too bad, then probably they might also have very close encounters. They might also kind of communicate with them. And if you don't know how to deal with this kind of things, which we don't know, most of us we don't know, right, then it's a nightmare, right? So moon is a very, very important entity. So moon can give us hope, even in the most difficult situations, to carry on with optimism, with enthusiasm, being happy with whatever we have, right? or moon may make us totally frustrated, either dwelling in the past or thinking about the future, or even when we go through failure, moon may actually pull us down. Moon may actually pull us into depression, that I cannot do it. So it all is dependent on how well the moon is placed. So moon is a very, very important entity, right? Now, apart from moon, what is the next planet which is very, very important, right? Jupiter. Yes, Jupiter is very important, but I'm not looking for Jupiter. Saturn is very important because it gives us our past life karma. Yes, it is actually Mercury. Now, why Mercury? Mercury is our intelligence. It is our, so Jupiter and Mercury they are kind of contemporaries, meaning Jupiter represents the higher wisdom, the higher learning, but Jupiter has to do with, spiritual things, because we are spiritual in nature. So Jupiter actually gives us that spiritual teaching that you don't belong to this world, and it gives us the higher principles, morality, values, and all those things, apart from many other material things, obviously. But Mercury also represents higher learning, but Mercury actually teaches us how to live in this material world, how to utilize the knowledge which we have, to best of our capacity to get success in our life. Mercury helps us to take the right decision, right? So we see many people are kind of indecisive. They'll not be able to take decisions, whether should I do this or whether should I do that, right? So this happens to everyone. This duality, it happens to everyone, right? It's not that our Mercury is bad, but generally people, they talk to other people, take suggestions, then they think, and they are able to actually assess the situation properly and know which decision is best for them. That is what Mercury does. Or Mercury might give us that intelligence to actually know what is good for us, what is bad for us. But if Mercury is not well placed, then a person will be indecisive, meaning the person will not be able to decide what is good or what is bad for him or her. And whatever choice the person makes, the person will repent, thinking, I should have made the other choice. I have made the wrong choice, right? So they'll not be able to, weigh the pros and cons and intelligently make that decision. So that intellectual capability and capacity to assess things in the right perspective and understand what is good for us, what is bad for us, is given by Mercury. Mercury helps us to actually apply the knowledge which we have actually learned. So a person might be an engineer, a person might be a doctor or a scientist or lawyer, in any profession. So learning, getting the degree is kind of the portfolio of Jupiter. So I'm talking in a generic sense. So it also represents, the fifth house and the ninth house we need to see. But in general, Jupiter is the Karaka for ninth house, or the post-graduation studies or higher learning. So Jupiter is the Karaka. So Jupiter gives us that knowledge. It gives us that degree, that PhD, that BE, MTech, or whatever degree you have, MBBS, MD. It gives us that degree. But that application of the knowledge which we have learned, that is where actually Mercury comes into play, right? So Jupiter does not actually do much there. It is Mercury which helps us to apply the knowledge which we have learned. And unless we apply the knowledge and actually make use of that knowledge, what is the use, right? And hence Mercury is the co-ruler of the 10th house along with Saturn, right? So I have seen cases. I know a very close person. She has done, MTech in computer science, meaning masters in computer science and engineering, and she excelled. She is a gold medalist, right? I was also actually studying with her, and she did many certifications in some programming language. She was always in the top 3, but I don't know, probably her Mercury is probably badly placed. I don't know about that. But when it came to the programming skills, she utterly failed there. She couldn't actually make it there, right? So she was struggling very much, and ultimately she gave up actually programming, and she told me that, I'm not good at it, probably I'm not meant for that. And then, she got into teaching. So teaching is also, I'm not saying that teaching is a bad profession. Teaching is a wonderful profession, but I don't know how successful she is, but that application of knowledge which we have done, that is the uh, portfolio of Mercury. Mercury helps us to actually apply the knowledge which we have learned in the proper place. It helps us to take the right decision. It is the analytical ability of a person to analyze things or problems in the proper perspective. It is, the karaka. I mean, Mercury is the karaka for that. It is the karaka for our intelligence. So we can see people. Even, we have many examples, or even you might have seen in your life, people who are not who have not taken much education, who have struggled and, taken some degree, but they know how to live in this material world. And, with they have wonderful ideas, and with that ideas, they get into some field, something unique, they build something, or they start some business, and then, they are like billionaires or millionaires, right? And people who are very highly educated, they are struggling with their 9 to 6 or 9 to 7 or 9 to 10 job, struggling daily, right? So it's not that that's bad or this is bad, but again, that is how Mercury acts. Mercury gives us that intelligence of how to be successful in this material world, right? So guys, if you are struggling to achieve success, you don't know how to achieve success, you are working very hard, but you are actually kind of lost, you don't know, how to achieve success, then do remedies for Mercury. And eventually you'll see that, you'll be able to analyze your situation, your condition, what you are lacking, right? And then you'll be able to take the proper decisions or corrective steps to be successful in your life, right? And moon obviously is the most important thing. And nowadays, most of the diseases which manifest physically, they have their roots in the mind, right? They have their roots in the mind. So, let it be blood pressure, diabetes, heart issues, psychological issues, anything. It starts all here in the mind, right? So, if you have issues there, do yoga, do pranayam, do whatever remedies you want to do. Keep your mind stable and cool. I know it's, very easy to say, but very difficult to do. But yes, we need to practice that. Meditation is wonderful. It helps us to actually stabilize our mind, and try to be in the present moment. Don't worry much about the past. We need to learn from the past, but don't dwell in the failures of the past. Otherwise, you'll lose the present moment, and you'll also lose your future as well. Don't be much worried about the future. Do whatever is necessary in the present moment, right? So, guys, these were my thoughts. So, I've been seeing some charts past, 8-10 days, and I thought I should be actually doing this video, right? So, thank you so much. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with another interesting video. Thank you so much.